Why, oh, why are so many late millennials and Gen Zers failing miserably in real estate? Well, let's talk about it. I got a couple points that I want to cover with everybody. You let me know in the comment section if you can relate or if you think it's true or not, and we'll discuss it. Late millennials, right? Millennial is 1980 to 1996. I'm going to say probably people that were born after me, 1990 and on, and then some of the Gen Zers. Number one is, for a lot of people, the late millennials and Gen Zers, is real estate is your first or was your first taste and crack at real bona fide entrepreneurship. And if you don't have experience as an entrepreneur, you really are in for a rude awakening when you get your real estate license, because it's so different and so new. If you've constantly just been employed, did work study in school, had summer jobs and that kind of stuff, I never really got into the workforce. Or even if you did get into the workforce, the whole point is entrepreneurship is different, right? Meaning, if all you know is a 9 to 5, being told what to do and having an employer, and now you're off to the races and you're 100% by yourself with no assistance, no training, no nothing, it's not only daunting for people, but it's like a harsh reality. And it's almost like they don't want to accept it. And we fall into the old habits. Meaning you're desperately looking around for somebody to help you, a lifeline. When, again, as an entrepreneur, that's not there. We're in a different era now where, people like myself have given stuff online for free and that kind of stuff. But even then, that's barely scratching the surface. So people are not used to not having somebody breathing down their neck, making their own schedule, having to invest in their businesses, purchase a bunch of stuff for their business, right? Like, this is all new to them. And I believe, since it's the first time for a lot of people that they're entering that, it's such a rude awakening that people just freeze up. And I think part of that too is there's false misconceptions about how the business is. I know, especially since people like me have gotten shunned off the internet and we don't really get as much shine or attention as we used to because we keep it real. People aren't interested in that. They're interested in the fairy tale. They want the BS, the happily ever after ending, right? They just don't want to hear the truth. And I think deep down inside, people know that that's the reality. They just don't want to accept it, right? So that's number one. Number two is the late millennials and Gen Zers are what we call the iPad generation. They grew up on devices. They didn't grow up staying out until the street lights came on and hanging out. Dude, when I was a kid, I was outside all the time. I was 2 or 3 shades darker than I am now because I was outside all the time, swimming, kicking it with my friends. Like, sure, I had my moments of playing video games and all that, but it was just, the devices didn't exist. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in college. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in college. And it was a basic little flip phone that could hold 3 or 4 numbers or whatever it was, right? Kids nowadays have devices like crazy. iPads, this, that. Different times. Now, I'm bringing that up because having that in place, being an iPad generation, you don't become as socialized growing up. Meaning you're not used to having to generate conversations and interactions out of thin air. It's not as normal. People are meeting first on apps before they do in person. People are becoming more socially awkward. People aren't understanding social dynamics. Communication skills are declining rapidly. We know this. This is obvious. So now when they get into real estate and find out, the TV shows were lying to me, this is a direct sales business, all hell breaks loose. Or they want to try to avoid that. Like, you'll see the posts all the time. You see me make fun of them. Hey, I want to make money as a realtor, but I don't want to talk to people or cold call or door knock. It's like, dude, that's like saying, hey, I want to become a world-class painter, but I don't want to actually move the paintbrush and stroke. I don't want to do that, but teach me how to be it's like, you're denying the very thing that you need to do, which is talk to people, lead generate, So what do people do? Oh, I'm going to buy this ad on how to do a Zoom webinar or this and that. It's like, dude, get back to the basics, because it's scary, again, if you're not in that world. And it is for everybody, because social dynamics, dealing with people, is the toughest form but most raw form of self-development for any human being, because it forces you to confront your insecurities as a man, as a person, as a woman, whoever you are, because you have to face the world head on and deal with the rejection and everything that comes with it. However, simultaneously, as tough as it is, it's the best form of developing your communication skills and the truest, rawest form of self-development. I truly believe that, and I stand by it, which is why I will always tell people to do it, not just because it's a component of the business, but it will create a better version of you. But you got to be willing to go through that fire. And I think a lot of people aren't. They just aren't, unfortunately. But the social, and this is why so much on my platforms, on my coaching, my communities, my team, there's so much training and involvement and immersion in communication. The more you develop your communication, the more your psyche improves, your mindset improves, and your ability to deal with other human beings improves. This is a people business and a relationship business. If you get great at speaking to people and you can connect with anybody, anywhere, any place, anytime, which is my formula, you're going to get a lot of business, and you're going to be happy and excited to do it. And you're not going to feel so scared. Look at the statistics, y'all. Real estate agents, especially the late millennials, the Gen Zers, are failing at alarming rates right now, because they're getting away from all the traditional stuff that I've been talking about for 12 plus years now. It's crazy. All right, but let's continue. Number 3, I believe a lot of late millennials and Gen Zers learn business through content and not through reading books and the traditional methods of education, which would be either learning from somebody directly in person or reading books. Do people do it? Sure. But compared to before, no, everybody's just watching content now. And people will spend $100 on a fancy setup like mine, and all of a sudden they're the expert. So you have a lot of information floating around, instead of reading the tried and true stuff in the books, which a lot of people online, all they're doing is reading books and then regurgitating it to you, putting a little spin on it, and then acting like it's their own, like they invented it, right? It's crazy. I would really recommend that many of you get off the digital stuff. Now, I get it, right? Like, I have coaching and people do stuff online with me that are in different places in the world. That's fine, but that's different. You're learning directly from me or whoever that teacher would be. If you do that, learning from somebody directly, being under their tutelage and reading more, you will do far better than just consuming hours and hours of content, right? Because it's convenient to turn a video on. It really is. But are we really studying things and studying them in depth? Because the 4th point that I would add to this is that you have to take your knowledge of the business, sales, people, communication, and go much, much deeper. 99.9% of the stuff on YouTube, podcasts, and the free platforms is basic stuff, which is great. It's a start. But you got to go beyond that. You think the top people in all their industries, y'all, are studying ferociously on YouTube? No, they're not. You think I'm sitting here studying YouTube? No. It's a start. It's a place to get your feet wet, learn some stuff, right? And it's amazing because, like, I look at my old YouTube channel, and man, I gave so much on that thing for people to really get started. It was awesome. I love getting all the messages and emails from people. It was amazing, and I still do to this day. But you got to go beyond it. Now, you may not know what, you may be confused. Pick up some books on certain subjects and go deeper. Take some courses and events, right? I've done a ton. Get under somebody's tutelage in whatever respective field that you're in or things that you want to master. Go directly to the source. Because think about it this way, right? You want to create a competitive advantage for yourself. Let's say you watch my videos and you're like, oh man, I love your stuff, BC. Cool. But if your competition is also watching my videos, how are you creating a competitive advantage? Because I could take any of my students right now in my Distinguished Agent program and plop them in any market, and I know they're going to just annihilate most of the competition, if not all of them, because of the skill set and systems and everything that they've acquired for themselves and their business. That if they go out there against the average salesperson or a real estate agent, they're just going to cream them. But they're a student of mine. They have knowledge, expertise, tools, blueprints that other people do not have. And they know it much, much deeper than the average person. Like if I bring up topics like neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, conscious mind, the subconscious mind, everyone's like, yeah, we know that stuff. We've heard about it. Yeah, you've watched some videos. Cool. How well do you really know it? Because somebody who really knows some of those things on a very, very deep level compared to somebody who just has a basic understanding of it, completely different skill sets. But y'all have to choose and then double down on whatever it is and master that. But when it comes to communication, that's going to serve you in every area of your life, with yourself, right? With your psyche, your self-image, your confidence, your mindset, your self-talk. But it's going to really help you out there regardless of what you do, whether you follow me and you're in sales, real estate, or anything. Doesn't it irk you guys as much as it irks me when you watch a show like Shark Tank and somebody has a genius business plan or idea and they can't communicate it for the life of them? You just cringe watching them. Like, dude, you have a bazillion-dollar idea and you're fumbling it because you can't communicate? And I've seen other ones that aren't so good ideas, but the person's a pretty sharp communicator, and hey, they get a deal. And the business is okay, but the sharks warm up to the guy or girl, they communicated, they presented themselves really well, and boom, they get a deal. How many times have you gotten lost in a video, maybe for 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes because it was a good story? Well, the person communicating it obviously communicated it well. So I always come back to that with people because it's so key. Many of you want to create content. Well, if I could snap my fingers and make you a phenomenal communicator and give you all my skills, making content would be effortless for you. Because just like me, all you have to do is push the button and talk. We've been going, 12 minutes now I see on this video? No skips, no cuts, no edits. I'm not special. I've just done this so much and worked on my communication that I can shoot any video on any topic on the spot, good flow, and not make any huge mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I don't have to have all these super hard stops and I got to start the video over, which I did in the beginning because I was new. But now I don't have to do that anymore. I get flown out to do a 2 or 3 hour speech and I'll show up. I'm like walking on stage. What do you want me to talk about? And they tell me, and then I go on stage and I do it. Would people have any idea that I didn't prepare for it? No. But after you've done hundreds and hundreds and over 1,000 speeches at this point, it's easy. But you got to get to that point and prioritize the right things. But see, I don't want to go off too much on the tangent here, but this is why the late millennials and Gen Zers are having so much problem. You're getting away from the core of the business, right? There's the old school and the new school. They have no idea what the old school is. They 100% embrace the new school. But that's technology, AI, social media, which is good. And it's fantastic tools. But it doesn't replace the old school, y'all. And you're starting to see it. You don't believe me? Look at the statistics. So I have some free resources in the description if you want to take advantage of them, right? I have a new sales quiz that I created that's really good. I have a bunch of stuff. Obviously, I have coaching and training if you want to check it out. But prioritize the right things, y'all. When you do, doesn't matter what generation you are. If you're a man, you're a woman, you're tall, you're short, you're overweight, underweight, you're going to do well because communication, everybody starts on an even playing ground. And those who dedicate themselves the most will reap the biggest rewards. And I think I'm a great testament of that. It's really that simple. All right. Hopefully that helped you. Put your head on right, focus on the right things, and you'll be successful in this business. All right. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys.